One. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have our co-hosts, Carrie Unique. We have Damon. We have Nikki and Deborah. Everyone say hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Everybody.
And we're going to jump in today. We have a couple of questions sent in to us, fellas. And ladies, please feel free if you need some clarification or just to do a little follow-up. The first question, ladies want to know to the men, what are the red flags when vetting for a long-term relationship? Who wants to have?
I'll take that. I'll take that one on first. Go, Sean.
All right,
First of all, every man who's looking for a long-term relationship and he's vetting his woman or his potential woman, everybody's different. No man is the same in their vetting process. But in my opinion, in vetting women for a long-term relationship is cleanliness and money handling situations. Want to make sure she can handle and manage money pretty well. I think those are my biggest two right now.
Non-negotiables, like you see this, oh no, that's a new red flag. I cannot deal with her.
Well, it's just quite the opposite of what I just said. My non-negotiables is a woman that is uncleanly and a woman that is terrible with money.
When you say uncleanly, do you mean like housewives, like how she keeps up her house and her body
Like
and
how she keep her house and her body. Yes.
Okay,
Um,
all right.
you know, if you might think I'm joking on this. All right. Well, you know how women today they seem to be more settled in a life, or become homeowners and business owners. More than men seemingly nowadays. So if I met a woman and she says, "Hey, I like to cook you dinner. Would you mind coming over to the house, have dinner with me? Whatever. That's cool." But if I pull up to the house and the blinds are all ripped up, falling apart at the window, that's my first impression. I walk in the house and the house is dirty. No, it doesn't fly with me. That's it. We won't even make it to the money part after that.
You say you're not even getting there, huh?
No, I'm not even gonna get there. No, 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 no. Like I say, if I come up to your house and your blinds are dirty, or your blinds are ripped up, torn up, that could be a multitude of things. Like one, kids are unruly, and they don't mind damaging your property, or you're just not you know on your game like you think you are. So those are
What if
some of my
everything
pet
else is
peeves.
clean? Like, what if everything else is clean, like her bathrooms, the kitchen, like everything clean, but she just ain't replaced her blinds yet from the kids
I mean,
messing them up?
but then that goes back to another situation. She invited me over to dinner. Did she just clean up just because I was coming? So what is she really? She's showing me who I want her to be, but is that the real her? You understand
I
what I'm saying?
agree. I agree. Yep,
So
100%.
that could make, yeah, so that could make me, that those could present red flags to me. And another thing that at this age, I'm 48 years old, but when I was younger and I was vetting women, another thing that I would do, one of the first things I would do is ask her to cook me dinner. Now, if she told me something like she can't cook, then, that's another problem. That's mandatory for me. If you can't, I can cook. I can cook for you. But if you can't cook for me, then, that's a whole nother situation as well. So those are my three things. She has to know how to cook, cleanliness, and must be good with money management.
Interesting.
Give it a shot, Damon.
All right. So I'm gonna just go from my experience. Basically, whenever I'm vetting a woman for a long-term relationship, initially, a lot of the things that Terry said, basically what she looked like to my eyes first. Then, of course, as you talk and get to know, you learn, what she drives, where she works. Is she ambitious? Is she goal or career goal oriented? Is she not? Is she stable? Does she have children? Does she have baby daddy drama? You know, a lot of things like that are kind of red flags with me if it's not in a good standing, if she don't have goals, not necessarily career goals, but personal goals. If she don't have a job that supports the lifestyle that she wants to live, or how old is she? Where is she in her quest to reach the lifestyle that she wants to live if she isn't there yet? It's just a lot of things, but that red flag would be if she got kids, if she got baby daddy drama, how old the kids are, how bad she needs me, you know, what she looking for herself. She might not be looking for a long-term relationship. So just if both of us on the same sheet of music about what we want in a relationship and we work, then that works. As when we were younger, sometimes you see things that you like and you kind of ignore some things that should have been red flags, but you make them caution flags when you're in your 20s. Sometimes even in your 30s, but in your 40s, they become bright red.
So true.
Hmm.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, for me, non-negotiable and a red flag is one of the most important things to me is their self-esteem. You know, that's very important. I want to see where that person is mentally, how do they feel about self, what their esteem is like, because that's very, very important. And cleanliness is important. And I think from a hygiene perspective, because, people, depending on what they do in their profession and things like that, and where they are with kids and business owners, you can see what looks like junk, right? Things will accumulate. And I'm just speaking personally because my ex-wife and I ran businesses and, she provided linen and table covers and things like that. So we accumulated a lot. But, hygiene is still important. We still bathing and brushing teeth and keeping yourself up, together. But I'm just thinking about the person themselves and who they are, because when a person is not right, or they don't have the right self-esteem, they appear to be very impressionable to me. And just from, past relationships and past experiences, when they're impressionable, that's hazardous to a relationship. I've seen friends, I can't even blame it on friends or to say the influence, but I've seen people in certain situations and circumstances do some things that is not becoming of someone in a committed relationship. So knowing where they are and what their esteem is like is important. Money, I wouldn't let it affect me. Of course, we talk about this. I'm the old school traditional guy thinking that, the men are supposed to pay all the bills or what have you. So their money is not that important to me, and I'm not going to let anybody mess my money up. Like, I'll have money, okay, that's for the house, but I always have money set aside for me and for a rainy day. So, I think we can talk and build on that as far as, putting something aside or working on saving and the importance of savings. But the main red flag is knowing where they are for a long-term relationship. Now, ladies, any follow up, or were we pretty clear with our answers? Deborah, Nicole,
You said say that again, Koshan?
were there any follow up questions, or were the men pretty clear with their answers?
No, you guys were extremely clear. Like I couldn't be any more. I mean, I couldn't understand better.
Okay. I'll
Like you guys were very clear in that, the cleanliness, the state of mind, as you said, all of those things are important. Your self confidence, what your mindset is like, where you're headed career wise. Like all of those things are extremely important. And I think those are the questions and the things that don't get asked enough before people, jump into these relationships a lot of times.
Okay. We have some, my bad, fellas. Somebody just came in. Just an update. So what we do is we have an option where viewers or listeners on the site, they can join in. It's only $1 a month and they get to send questions in. We just received another question. And I like the why question, and ladies love asking why questions because they've already made an assumption, right? But this question, guys, is why are you obsessed with sex? And we used to get the why questions. Do we agree with this? If so, why? If not, why not? But her question is, why are you obsessed with sex? Terry, you started the last one off. Keep us going.
I'm gonna give this one a shot, Kushan. First of all, like you say all the time, Kushan, when they say why, they automatically believe that it's true. Well,
Mhm.
I won't say it's true that men are obsessed with sex, but a lot of men use it as a bonding tool with
Mm.
their woman or their mate. Some men just like to act. I can't necessarily say that they want it as a bonding thing, but they just like to act. They just like, It also depends on the mindset of the individual, the man. Me personally, I'm not going to say that I'm obsessed with sex, but I love it. For me, it's a bonding thing with my wife, and I just enjoy it. So no, I can't say it's always that it's men are obsessed with it. No, we're not.
Mm. Damon?
Yeah, I think certain people are obsessed with sex because I know quite a few women that are. Not all men are, I don't think. I know I'm not. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy fishing too, but I ain't obsessed with it. But I do it when I can and I enjoy it. I believe, sex is something that definitely brings you closer to someone if you want to be closer. The act of it is, I think, more mental than physical in some aspects, but some aspects of it is more physical than mental at times when you're dealing with different people. But yeah, that was an assumption that they believe in, or some people believe, but I don't think it's just men. I don't think it's just men that are obsessed with sex.
Well, for me, I am definitely not obsessed with sex, but I will say when I was younger, I was obsessed, like literally obsessed, right? It was bad, but I wouldn't even say I was obsessed with sex. I was obsessed with, this is an adult show. I was obsessed with ejaculating, right? And I talked about this as a kid when I was young, like about 10 years old, 10 or 11. My babysitter was like 15 when I lived in Boston and had me playing truth or dare. And, as a kid, I didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? I just kept saying truth, because at 10, what do you have to lie about? Right. And one day she was like, you never said dare, or I would dare her. But again, I'm thinking as a 10-year-old, so I'm daring her to like lock herself in the closet or just doing silly things. And one day she dared me to touch her breast and then dared me to kiss her and, you know, went on and on. And as a kid, my older brother was there, but he would always leave. That's why my mom got a babysitter. He didn't want me hanging out with him. He was 15, I was 10. So I told him, hey, this is what happened. Not that like he was supposed to protect me, but I was like letting him know what just took place, right? And he stuck around that day. Like he wanted to get a piece of this truth or dare thing. And I think from that point on, I couldn't process it. And my brother wasn't a good voice of reason at the time. Of course, I definitely didn't tell my mom, right? So as a child, it gave me a good feeling, right? Physically, but I wanted that feeling. So I think it made me become hypersexual. I was hypersexual as a kid. So hey, I laugh about it now, but I remember in middle school, man, I would tell girls in the 7th grade to act like their cycle was on. So they would have them go sit in the clinic, and I would come in the clinic and try to do what I do. Right. And it was bad in high school and college. I was really, really, really obsessed, but then it was all physical. And once I got older, of course, that obsession declined, and then it got to the point where it was all mental. And I think that was it's a good thing, but it got kind of bad because it became such a mental thing for me that if I'm with somebody and we aren't getting along or they get on my nerves, I can't have sex. I'm just not even in the mood, if I'm upset with that person. So it transitioned for me from being obsessed with the physical act and what it did to me physically to it being something more emotional and mental. And it got to the point where I could be with the person and be affectionate and not even have to have sex. We could watch a movie and I could rub your feet and do whatever. But I mean, if you want that, I'm fine. But it wasn't as important to me as I got older. Sorry about that. Melvin, welcome in. I see Tank is here. Jermaine is here. Welcome, fellas. The seats are open. If you want to chime in, Melvin. But one of the questions that were asked was, there were two questions. The first was, when you're looking for a long-term relationship, what are some red flags? That's like, hey, that's non-negotiable. I can't entertain that. And the next question was, why are you obsessed with sex?
Really quickly before Melvin goes. Okay. My sister wanted to ask this question, but she said give her a second. Okay. Go ahead, Melvin. Sorry.
If he wants to chime in.
Everybody. Good evening, everybody. How y'all feeling?
We're good. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm over there watching Power and listening, multitasking. Why are we obsessed with sex?
Yes.
That's the question. I guess the feeling, the way it makes you feel, the feel of it. I mean, if it's if the woman is well put together, she grabbing you right, and that thing feel good, man. I can get you obsessed with it if it's good, like they say. That sex was good or that sex was whack. If it's good, yeah, I'm gonna be obsessed with it. And the other question was again, what was your other question?
What are red flags when looking for a long-term relationship? So before you go on, so you do agree that you are upset?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And smoking, smoking is a red flag for me.
Oh, okay.
If a woman smokes cigarettes, I don't care how fast she is. She could be Beyonce. I won't talk to her. That's the
Hey, they
best.
can quit smoking though. She can quit smoking.
No, they're not.
Melvin,
Like, I've had women that I say, yo, stop smoking and we can talk. They chose the cigarettes.
how old are you, Melvin? Don't mind me
Uh,
asking.
54.
All right. All right.
54 years old.
I
And
definitely think for the
so,
right
so the thing is
person,
this.
anybody will change a bad habit.
No, listen. Like, that's the problem right there. That happens in a lot of relationships. If somebody's doing something, don't get with them and try to change them. And that's where the problem comes in at. If somebody drink and they're a heavy drinker and you don't drink like me, I don't smoke or drink or do anything. I don't use drugs. I never smoke. I never drink. I don't do nothing. So I'm not going to get with somebody that do that and then try to change them. If I don't like that and that's what they do, then I'm going to let them do them. I'm not going to get with them and try to change them. That's the biggest mistake people try to do is get with people and try to change them. Get with somebody that does what you do. If I don't like a person that don't smoke cigarettes, then I'm going to find a woman that don't smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to find a woman
Right.
that smokes cigarettes and then try to change her. And then when she don't want to change, I'm going to get mad. And
Right.
that's the
But
big problem. Like,
it doesn't have to be like a thing, where you have to get mad at her. It's just as simple as like, if let's say you vibing with her and you don't even know, right, that she smokes cigarettes, but then find out because one night she was snuck out the back while y'all at a little party or something. You know what I'm saying? And you bring it to her attention, like, I didn't even know you did this. This is not something that I really want, my woman to be doing, or I really prefer for a woman to do. And that's not you trying to change her, right? That's you stating one of your boundaries, or, one of the things that one of your non-negotiables. So it then puts the ball in her court, right? And she could either say, well, yeah, there's different ways to look at every situation. So, I mean, they're kind of unhealthy for me anyways, and I'm really liking this guy. So, is it worth me not having or not, being able to explore this relationship just because I have a bad habit? Can I put this bad habit down? Like, just you stating that sometimes with the right person may even make them really reevaluate what they might be doing. And it's not you trying to change them, it's just you stating your boundaries, right? And allowing them to then see if that's something that they can let go, maneuver, whatever, however, you know what I'm saying? And you being willing to give that time and space and opportunity for that to happen, if that's what you want to do, though.
It don't, Deborah, Miss Deborah,
Yeah.
it don't matter how you cut that cake. If I get with you and if you smoke cigarettes, I'm gonna learn that in the first hour that we speak. And that's the problem with social media that took away dating and stuff like that. When we
Yep.
dated, we talked and we said what we like, what we didn't like, and we learned each other. But if you get with somebody, you find out later on that they smoke cigarettes. Y'all didn't have a conversation because that's very important to me. I don't eat pork either, so I let people know that I don't eat pork. I don't smoke
Right.
cigarettes. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Those things you're gonna know about me early. Like I said, in the first hour that we have our conversation, I mean, when you ask me to tell me some things about myself, those are gonna be some things that you're
Right.
gonna ask me. And I'm gonna ask
Right.
you, do you smoke cigarettes? And if you smoke cigarettes, then I'm gonna let you know at that time that, I don't talk to women that smoke cigarettes.
Yeah,
I have about
we ain't gonna work out anyways. I'm gonna have me some bacon.
I had like five females. I had about five I had about five females that told me that they not stopping to smoke their cigarettes for me to take it that way. They gonna smoke their cigarettes.
And
You heard
and
me?
that was their prerogative though in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's yours to set your boundary and stand on that too as well though. So
Oh yeah,
100%.
I did what they said do. I kept on walking. I'm not
Right.
fighting with nobody to do something that they've been doing. You know how hard it is? The cigarettes is an addiction. So you asking me to stop? You've been smoking cigarettes for 20, 30 years. And just because I like you and I want to get with you, I expect you to stop doing something that you've been doing for 20, 30 years because I want to get with you? It don't just happen like that in the real world. It sounds good, but that's not how that happens, Miss Deborah. So what I do is I don't get with a person that does that, and that way, you could do what you want to do once. I tell you that I don't do that, and if you want to do that, then I'm gonna respect that and I'm keep going. So that's just my take on that. That's my biggest red flag right there.
I think you both have a really good point. Melvin is saying what his red flag is. I get what the others are saying, but smoking is something really, it's an addiction. So it's not as easy to say, okay, I'll stop doing it. Like some women might go to parties or, they like being at bars or whatever. And, they could say, well, okay, I'll stop doing that. But an event that something that deals with an addiction, like cigarettes and smoking, I can get that. And I understand what, Melvin is saying. Cause like I say, everybody's entitled. And if it's a red flag, you know, that's a red flag. This is an interesting question that came in. This person asked, what do you feel that you bring to a relationship, guys? What do you feel that you bring to a relationship? Don't everybody go at once.
I bring stability to a relationship. I bring happiness. I bring strength, family. I'm a pillar. I'm like, I holds up relationships, friendships. I'm that guy that everybody go to, but don't have nobody to go to, if that makes sense. Like if something happens, I deal with it. I'm a Capricorn. I deal with my problems. But if everybody else have a problem, I'm right there. I'm the first one on the scene and the last one to leave. But when I have a situation, I try to deal with it the best way I know how. So, I try to be the strength and make sure everybody's good, everybody around me.
So that's your greatest asset?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Fellas, talk to me.
I think I bring ability to think, the ability to act, physical and mental. I can help in any situation. And if I'm not the subject matter expert, I think I got enough relationships built where I can get help. So just like Melvin just said, people kind of rely on me to get things done, especially people in my family, but others that I come across, they know what I do. Or just like if I got a question about math, I know who to come to, right?
Hmm?
If I got a question about anything, I know who I can go to, and people are willing to help me just like I'm willing to help others. So I believe I bring a network of ability with me to a relationship.
Got that. Terry, Tank.
Hey, it's Terry. I agree with Damon. Stability, ability, and I'm positive and I process situations very well. At this point in my individual family, I guess they could call me the patriarch at this level because I feel, I take care of my family, my immediate family, which initially was my father, my mother, and my siblings, which some of my siblings are older than I am. But, when they have problems and they have issues, they call me and, it's like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And, I process it and, I give them, in my opinion, very good opinions of how to fix situations. So I bring that to a relationship as well.
Hmm. It's something. Gives us an opportunity to reflect. Tank, you want to chime in? I know you're here, but I'll go ahead. I think what I bring to a relationship is I think I have a pretty good sense of humor, a sense of understanding. Like I'm non-judgmental as long as you're honest. And the sequence of those events are important because people think that, okay, you're upset because I did X, Y, Z. No, I'm upset because you lied about it or said you didn't. But if you're honest and open initially, I'm very understanding because I've been in a lot of situations. I've seen a lot of things and I can separate a person from their persona or who they become, just due to circumstances. But I think that's one asset is my sense of humor and ability to understand. Also, like Damon said, man, I'm pretty diverse. And I learned a very long time ago. I'm pretty knowledgeable. I like learning. I like to know things, but you can never know everything. So I learned to network and develop a knowledge base of humans. So if there's something that I need to know about, I have some people that I can readily call at any point in time. When I have issues that involve using Microsoft Excel. I know people that have worked in accounting for 20 years. I text, call, whatever. I get answers. Military, surrounded by that. I'll call Damon, both Damons, Tank, Terry, whomever. I have a cousin that's a general in the military. Just having a network of people, I think that's an asset. And I'm a worker and believe in being a provider and protector. I take pride in that, right? And being a provider and a protector and wanting people to feel safe or being able to depend on me. Those are some assets and some things that I think I bring to a relationship.
Humility. I'm gonna give you another one, Coach John.
Okay.
You don't come across as very prideful. You express yourself in a manner that sometimes make me cringe. I'm like, man, I would never say that, but that makes you human. It makes you approachable.
Right. I learned that, man, that, just say it and be done with it, right? And the one thing that I've made a promise to myself is I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to lie to myself. And some things, like you said, people don't believe it. And one of the things that I talked about, and people have contacted me, my sisters and some family members, and they're like, "Oh, you always talk about, why do you talk about your dad that way?" And I'm like, "Girl, my daddy and I talk 5 times a day. We talk about, he went through a rough spot. He battled addiction for 8 years. And I share it because, like I said, I'm not above anybody. I've been through far more than a lot of people. And no matter what you're going through, I'm not going to judge you, right? And it's not to try to make him look bad. Actually, it makes me look better that he overcame it. And it gives hope to a lot of people that, hey, we went through this and look at me now. Here's where I am. And especially the things that happened to me as a kid, because I had no control over it. Just like, you have adults that love to hold on to their childhood fame and glory. Like, yeah, you were best dressed, but your mom bought all those clothes for you. Yeah, you had a car in high school. Your parents did that for you. What have you accomplished? You know,
I be saying the same thing, Coach Sean.
you know, how we came up, but in my opinion, the guys that didn't have anything created a special bond, man. I remember a JV game, Terry. Nobody had lotion. I think one person pulled it out and everybody near dapping and rubbing hands, and you know what I'm saying?
Yup, yup, yup.
We built a brotherhood, man. I remember going to summer school downtown at Burke just to avoid a particular teacher I'm not going to name. So I went to summer school before our senior year because she was the only teacher that taught the subject. And man, Ruben and I went to summer school, and that literally became my brother. Like, we shared everything. We bought snacks together. One day we ran out of gas at driving my sister's Ford Escort. We ran out of gas on the corner of 61 and San Rittenberg. Traffic backed up and Ruben got out and we started pushing. That joke was so strong, man. We were pushing past people in traffic like we were driving. And build a brotherhood. So I think not that everyone should want to struggle, but I think going through a struggle builds a particular bond and builds your character. It creates a character trait that a lot of us should have.
Right, right, right. Hey, Coach Sean, I want to back it up just a little bit. Back to that question. Why are men obsessed with sex? Well, I think everybody gave their opinion, maybe their personal experience with sex at this point. What I also want to say is if there is a man that is obsessed with sex, sometimes you might have to check their childhood. Does something happen to them in their childhood that made them, become obsessed with sex? Or as simple as, I want to say for like myself, in elementary school, I wasn't the flyest kid. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I was that 4-eyed kid with the butterfly collar, you know, but when I reached a certain age and I was able to, buy my own clothes and, and I felt like, I was really into girls or girls were really into me, it changed me, At that point, I want to say, I don't know if I was obsessed with sex. I think I was more obsessed with being a dominant person in a particular relationship, whether it was an actual relationship or, you know, we just doing, young kids doing adult things. So, there could be multiple reasons that a man could be obsessed with sex. That's my point. That's what I wanted to get across. But, like I said, you got to check the childhood. Me personally, I'm not, but, someone else could be. Like Melvin said, he feels like he, is, but, okay. But you got to check those people. That's my opinion on that.
That's something that's really important. I want to take a little pause right quick when we talk about that, and you talk about the childhood, right? This past week, I met with a lot of educators, and one of the common themes were dealing with students that are rude and disrespectful. And something that I pointed out to them is this: there's a huge generation gap in education, right? it's a low paying profession. It's a profession that requires a lot of passion. So you have veteran teachers. You have people that are in their 50s are considered young in some spaces, right? You have teachers that are in their 70s, 60s, 70s, but they came up in a generation where our voices were suppressed. You couldn't talk back. You didn't ask questions. Adults didn't converse with us. They talked at us. They told us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And we listened. But we are also in a generation of victims. A lot of people were abused, physically abused, sexually abused, emotionally, mentally abused. And we know that. Some people don't want to admit it or talk about it, but we know what we've dealt with. So in response, we teach our kids to speak up and speak out. We teach our kids to be transparent. So conversation is different now. You know, many of us rode buses. We didn't see our parents until they got home from work. It was like the house ought to be clean, homework done. You wait to get some dinner, state your piece and go to bed. Now parents are picking kids up in the car line. They're texting with each other all day. I know for me, if you call your mom a job, the house better be on fire. So we didn't communicate with our parents like that. But now the kids are, and it's hard for a 12, 13-year-old to process, well, how can I talk to my parents and ask them questions? But when I get to school and I ask why, I get sent to the office. I'm suspended, you know, and it's different. So I think that the positive is kids are being able to communicate, right? So they don't experience the traumatic things that we did. And I'm saying we as a generation, not saying everybody here experienced something, but the only downside is the generation above us that don't really grasp that and still don't feel like little kids should have a voice. I just wanted to inject that piece, right? I'm sorry if I went off on a tangent, but I have another question, guys, that came into us. It says, what makes a female wife material? This ought to be good. What makes a female wife material? Who wants to go?
What makes a female wife material? Oh, sorry, I'm not on mute. Wife material. Sorry, y'all. I thought I was on mute.
Oh, you're good. You're good. What makes a female wife material? Tank, you want to start us, pop it off for us?
Mm-mm.
Terry, Damon, Melvin, what makes a female wife material?
To me,
I,
I tell these, and I don't want to step on anybody's feet or make anybody butt hurt, but I tell my family, my sisters, my aunt, my daughter, if you want to be sought out by a respectable man, you keep some things private. And people that put a lot of their life skin on social media, they disqualify themselves in a lot of respects from being wife material. We as men don't want to walk in a building with a woman that knowingly has been with a lot of people and specifically been with people in that building, right? My wife became a virgin when she met me. That's what I like to believe, right? So if you want to be wife material in my eyes, you don't put yourself out there. You don't broadcast what I should only see as your husband. And that's first and foremost, amongst a lot of other things, but that one is just at the top of my list.
Mm. Ladies, any follow up on that?
so in other words,
Right there.
hold on, lady. Hold on, lady. So Terry, that was Terry, right?
No, Damon.
Damon. So what are you saying? You can't turn a garden tool into a housewife, pretty much? Or you don't? You couldn't?
Hey,
No, you can't, Tank. No, you can't. I answer for
You
them.
can't?
No, you
Okay.
can't. No, you can't.
Okay.
No, you can't.
I'm just sure. I was just asking for the
They,
audience.
they,
The
they,
audience
they
had
have.
that question.
If you're in a relationship with this woman and you expect a certain level of monogamy, when she get bored with you, what is she gonna do? She's gonna revert back to her old self. But
Correct.
that's my opinion.
That's what I do. So yeah, that's
you're
why
not a woman.
no. Men can be promiscuous like women, but we choose not to be.
Nah, you're a man. Be a man.
Say what?
You're a woman.
Did you just say men choose not to be promiscuous like
Men are
women?
less
You heard him
promiscuous.
right, Deborah.
Correct. Yes, we are less promiscuous.
Lies. I, yeah, okay. If you say so, Pink.
Show me some stats to disprove me then.
Tank said that, ladies. I didn't.
Who's the guy who's that Damon that actually said about, I'm a female and some call me old fashioned. Me and Coach Sean talk all day, every day, and Tank is my cousin. So I totally agree with you. It shouldn't be where a female walks in a building and there's 20 males and out of 20, 14 not slept with her.
Even five
And
is too many.
she expects to be somebody's wife. I totally agree with you. So that has a lot to do with it. I have girls, like I tell them all the time, you know, they're younger. They're much younger, but these young kids, for some reason today with females, everything has to be revealing, and it doesn't take all that to get a man's attention, but it happens.
Mm.
It definitely does happen. And let me just say something really quickly. Like I'm with you, Nicole. I'm a little bit more old school. Like I'm not posting myself in provocative ways on the internet, no nothing like that. I'm not doing anything that I feel could compromise my integrity within myself. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing. Anything that I feel like I can't close my eyes at night and sleep with peacefully, I'm just not going to do, you know? And it has nothing to do with how anyone else is going to look at me, more how I'm going to have to live with myself in the decision that I'm making in this moment. So for me myself, that is just something that, because of the standards that I hold for myself, there's a lot of ways that we are not, right? Being from a different generation, we are not those ways, but the way that a lot of people are dating now, they are looking for women who are, a lot more open and, willing to do stuff. And so for women who are not, it makes it a lot harder in that pool of dating, to even be seen in a serious manner.
Deborah, I don't think that has changed so much, but men are looking for excuse me, something to fuck. And in saying that, that's what they're looking for. But as far as making them their wives or having a relationship, no, they're not looking for that. Don't let them fool you. They're not looking for that. And yes, Pink, I'm speaking for the males.
I just want a woman I can go to church
Speaking for
with, have
some
dinner.
males.
Yeah. I just want to go to church and have dinner. Go to the gym. So that's it.
Really quickly, you guys, my sister Lydia wants to say something. She's here. Lydia, say hello
How
first.
you doing, sis?
Hi, everyone. Yeah,
Hey,
this is
what's
my
up?
sister.
What's up, family?
Hello.
Welcome,
How you
welcome.
doing?
Hi.
I'm doing well. So I wanted to make a point though. Someone had said you can't turn a garden tool into into a pretty little kitchen cake,
Okay.
and I I wanted to bring it back to, I believe the gentleman was Koshan, who was speaking about a childhood babysitter encounter.
Yes.
Was that you?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, there are so many men that are molested when they're younger. And a lot of times when especially in those situations, they don't necessarily learn that it is molestation like that. A lot of times it's like, oh, well, it's kind of like a congratulations, you got to grab your babysitter's tit.
Right. I was
But,
bragging. We did a little more than that,
right,
but go ahead.
exactly. And for women, for women, it's not a bragging right. It's a hell of a lot of shame,
Yeah.
but the result is very similar for both of us, which is promiscuity. And if you don't if there's no one there to help you or teach you or let you know about that cycle, or if you don't get counseling, you just kind of continue down that path. Sometimes it's not until you run into a person that is willing to see past the hold'em or whatever else you have created in life And that goes for males and females because the same, I don't want to walk into a room, sis, with a man and 15 out of the 20 women in there have slept with him or had some type of relation with him. That doesn't, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make me feel like he values himself either. But I do understand, like, we all come from some place, and you never know the things that cause a person to move a certain way. So I just wanted to say that sometimes you can be the person that helps someone remember their value as a person, and yes, change them from being a bit gardenish to, just one garden or one plant rather.
So you mean going from whole to wholesome?
Exactly. It's possible.
I want to chime in. Contrary to Tank's belief, I think that you actually can, right?
Yeah.
You're not turning them. They can turn themselves into a housewife. And as we get older, the women that you date that have had, their fun times, right? They've lived and learned. They've been through the betrayal. They've been to the best friend telling my man where I was, the getting caught up with such and such, having anxiety, not sure who my child was. Like, they've been through enough experiences that it has kind of changed them. And they're actually the ones that, in some instances, I would prefer, because a lot of people have a whole phase. I want to be with somebody who lived
While
through
they're
that
married.
phase. Yeah, because you'd hate for a woman to get married, right? I talk to women a lot, and not that I talk to all women, but when there's a common theme or some commonalities in the things that we discuss, one thing that I've learned from women is they've all had a phase, right? You don't want to call themselves a whore. Just say, hey, I had fun. I did this. It was such and such. But a lot of them, you don't want to marry somebody that never went through that phase. And then that curiosity sparks when you're married.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cause now it's like you start to wonder, and she gets a career. She's around different men or different women that share stories and talk about different things. And it's like, you know what? I never experienced XYZ. And
Yeah, the timing is everything, Coach Sean.
yeah,
If I meet her in the club, that's a little bit different.
yeah, that's no different. But if you meet her at church, you meet these women and
And
that's
the
when they
worst,
get when they get saved now, when they're retired hot girl and they come out the streets, they go to the church and wash them sins away.
Right. Well,
Some women get saved every Sunday.
They do, they do, because and they don't pray for deliverance, they pray for forgiveness, because they don't want to get delivered from it. They're gonna do it again the following week, but they're back in church Sunday praying. Now you got.
the first time you go home with the old lady or your real serious girlfriend, and every dude that pull up to the mama house, you looking at him real strong.
Wondering, huh?
Looking at him real strong, boy.
Don't
But
don't
yeah,
you don't you hate when people do stuff and then use the nobody's perfect doctrine? They know they're about to cheat is wrong. And then when they do it, they say, well, nobody's perfect. Why are you judging me? Nobody's perfect. Like, you can't do something that you know is wrong and then say, like, hey, if you make a mistake and fall on the floor or drop a plate on the food, I'm 54 years old. I've yet to been walking down the street and fell in some sex. I don't understand. I don't
But y'all
understand
the ones
how
that said it was possible,
I don't
though. Y'all
understand
said it
how
was possible.
cheating with somebody is a mistake. Women always say, well, he made a mistake, so I forgave him. How do you make a mistake and sleep with somebody? Well, you got to plan, you got to put on a condom, you got to go to a hotel. How do you make a mistake? How is that a mistake? That's pre-planned. Like,
hey,
you
God,
Said it happened in the alley. Frank said it happened right there in the alley where she bent over at.
man, I done made plenty of mistakes I thought about a long time.
Yeah, I made mistakes.
dropping a plate of food on the floor, brother, is a mistake. That you didn't mean to do that. You cannot make a mistake and speak to somebody. Absolutely not.
I,
You know
I,
what you
I
was
think
doing.
I think I
You
made
made a conscious
mistakes.
decision to
Well,
do that.
sometimes you might have been naive. I made a mistake, and I've been around people where we've been around each other several times and nothing ever occurred. And then this one time, this person came on and something happened. I don't know if that's considered or classified as a mistake, but it definitely was not premeditated, you know?
What does mistake mean?
So, you know me, we're going to go to Webster right quick with this one.
Nah, let's use the street term. Like in the
No.
street, what is a mistake?
We need something concrete in this case
Okay.
because everybody's
Okay.
views and opinions change. So we're going to talk about a mistake,
Okay.
to blunder in the choice of, right? To misunderstand the meaning or intention of, to make a wrong judgment of the character or ability of, to identify wrongly, confused with another. So a wrong judgment, a wrong action or statement proceeding from faulty judgment, inadequate knowledge, or inattention to. So by definition, it was a wrong action, right? A faulty judgment took place or inadequate knowledge. I didn't know what she had planned or inattention to when you didn't pay attention to it. And I've been told several times that I've been naive or somebody was like, they were throwing hints or they said X, Y, Z. So based off definition, a mistake was made.
Yeah, I think maybe mistake and accident may be two different things, but I can say I made a lot of mistakes I thought about. Now, accident, that's a little bit different. You don't accidentally have sex with somebody.
Right. So mistake. Well, we're going to go to the dictionary and see what's the definition of an accident based on Merriam-Webster's definition is an unforeseen and unexplained event or circumstance, a lack of intention or necessity. And I get where, you know, Melvin is saying this is a lack of intention or necessity. So if you intentionally did it, it's not an accident. An unfortunate event results in, especially from carelessness or ignorance, an unexpected and medically important bodily event. All those are accidents causing loss or injury. And I mean, we make mistakes. That happens. Accidents is unforeseen, unplanned event or circumstance, right?
Happens.
It happens. A lack of intention or necessity. Now, when
He
you,
said you
like,
intend to stick that thing in that
yeah,
hole, so
there's a
that
point where you recognize that, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, right? And I think, like Melvin said, now it's no longer an accident. It's no longer an accident. But that mistake piece I mean, we made mistakes, you know, but I get what you're saying, Melvin. That doesn't excuse what happened, you
My
know.
problem is an intentional mistake. Intentional mistake.
Right. No, you choose your actions. You can't choose the consequences. That's something that we have to
Right,
understand
right.
as
The thing is,
adults.
if I'm married, Sean,
Yeah.
I got a whole wife at home, and Shorty say, "Yo, come to the crib tomorrow. I want to smash." I can't go over there and smash Shorty. Go over there, take a shower, put on a condom, drive back home to my wife, and then say I made a mistake. Like, I'm not understanding that part right there. When people say that, that's not a mistake. You knew what you was doing.
The problem is not going back home and tell her.
Huh?
You ain't
What's the
supposed to go back
problem?
home and tell. You're not supposed to go back home and tell.
No, the problem is, hey yo, and you wanna know what else I find funny? When guys say, at least I kept it real with you and told you. You kept it real and told her. Keeping it real is not doing it, bro. How you keeping it real by telling her you cheated? Dude's like, yo, at least I kept it real and I told you I cheated. Oh, bro, if you would have kept it real, you wouldn't have cheated. Y'all agree with that?
Tell me you ever cheated?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm 54 years old, bro. I'm guilty of a lot of shit. I did a lot of shit I ain't had no business doing. I got 3 baby mothers, 4 kids. I was
No
outside,
mercy.
man. I was outside for real, for real. I've been having sex over 40 years, man. Not a game.
But you made mistakes. You agree?
No, I knew what I was doing. There was no mistakes. I knew what the hell I was doing. And nobody put a gun on my head. Like I said, I never walked down the street, slipped, and fell into no sex. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm sorry, boo. My bad. That's a mistake. When you walk and you fall, by mistake and hurt yourself because you didn't mean to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have sex, you know what you're doing.
Right, right, right,
Yeah,
right.
you know what you're doing. Like I said, you got to take steps. Every time I had sex, I had to take steps. I had to go to the store, get condoms. If we went to the telly, I had to pay for the room. I know what the hell I was doing. But then when I got caught, it was a mistake. And
Mm.
then he forgave me and then say, yeah, he made a mistake. He said
Oh
he won't
yeah,
do
not
it.
the repeated events. I agree with you on that. It's not a mistake if it's something that happens repeatedly, but
I'm going to say anything that you do planned and willingly is not a mistake, in my opinion.
no, I made my mistakes were different. I made mistakes where, like I said, I've been around people, I've trusted people, and I thought that we had, just a friendship, and an event occurred, and next thing you know, we're doing something that I never expected, didn't anticipate, didn't provoke or ask. It happened like that. I think was a mistake, but if you keep doing it, no, it's no longer a mistake, and now you deal with whatever consequences come along with that. There's some, in my opinion. Now, I'm sorry, I'm getting questions coming in. I'm sorry, you all. I have another. She asked, what are some ways to resolve conflict with your significant other? Do you all have these things planned out? What are some ways to resolve conflict with your significant other? This is good. Do you guys have like rules or what different strategies to resolve conflict, fellas? I'll let you all go.
You got different conflicts too.
Right. So give us an example of one and like what would you do? How would you resolve it?
I call other people all the time. Other people that we both respect. I'll call
Mm.
them, or she'll call them to get a third party's opinion.
I think that's the number one wrong thing to do in relationships today. The only one y'all supposed to talk to is each other and God. But when we start getting opinions of others, that's where the problem really comes in at. So we need to talk to each other and listen. Some people do not know how to listen. They hear when people have a conflict, they hear each other while they talking. And then because they want to start talking. So they're not listening to you. They don't want you to finish talking. They want to start talking because they're not listening to you. You ever talk to somebody and then as soon as you finish, you say, what I said, and they can't tell you? As
Yeah,
soon as you finish,
that's why it's a mediator is important.
yeah, people can't, they don't know how to listen. They know how to hear. Listening is a skill that a lot of people don't know how to do. But to answer the question, communication. One talk, one listen, one talk. We got
You
to
just
talk.
said two different things. If I'm mad with my wife, I don't want to hear what she's saying. And if she mad with me, she don't want to hear what I'm saying.
Correct.
No matter how right she is or how right I am. So sometimes to take the bias out of it, we call a respected mediator. And it worked for me.
Oh, well, I always thought that's the problem when you involve other people in your business.
And that is
I
one
think it
way.
depends on the people.
Yeah, that is one way to have a mediator. But another way is also to just take a little bit of space to allow each person to, process what's happening here, what the conversation is and needs to be, and then come back to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes y'all might just need a moment versus just being heated in that moment.
And it
A
also
lot of
depends
times,
on
a
how
lot of
you're
times
in.
one of the
No,
third parties might not like the other person.
but it depends on how you're involving the person in the problem. If you just,
So
you got to
what if
actually
that
go
third
to them
party,
with
now
sound advice.
you know how women stick together and women have a strong bond, right? So if I do something, they like, later for him, girl, like women stick together, they have a strong bond. So she go to her girlfriend and say, Melvin did this dumb today. Say, what, girl? I told you to leave him alone. Like, you didn't listen to me. Like, so that, and then you want to
Melvin,
stay with that person.
Melvin,
Yes.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Melvin. I'm sorry, but that's the purpose of the show. Like, we don't want women going to women to find out what men are thinking or what men,
Oh,
how men work. All right. So,
got it.
Correct.
so for a girlfriend to go to
Oh,
another
okay.
girlfriend, that's what we don't want. Because
I
just
got
like
you
you
now.
said, a girlfriend is going to have a different bond, or she's going to give her opinion, but want to make it factuality of what, has happened or what Melvin just did. You see what I'm saying? but she doesn't really know Melvin, and she's giving false or misleading information. So that's why we're here talking to these women about what we as men think and go through and how we respond and react to situations. I just wanted to bring you back to that one.
Thank you. I got it now.
I wanted to speak on asking like a third party, like as a mediator in your relationship. I to whoever the brother was that said that, I think that can be extremely helpful. And I understand I don't know if that's Tank who was like, don't involve people. Melvin said, don't involve people in your relationships. But I think it depends on who the person is that you involve in like the person who you bring in. I think that's what's really important. As long as you guys know that person can be, like impartial, because like my sister and her my brother-in-law, and they will, call me and act like bring me in about a thing that they're debating about, at times. And just because she's my sister, I don't just side with her because, she's my sister and I love her. I'm very impartial and I love him just as well. So I want to see them succeed as a unit, so I really just want to help them see each other's side of it. So I think it can be helpful at times.
Yep.
I agree with what Damon said. So I believe in, it's weird. And I think that a lot of people have to be conditioned to being unconditional when it comes to relationships. And when I say that, I'm talking about, like, I have responsibilities and things that I'm going to do regardless. And I'm not saying it's the right way or the only way to be in a relationship. I lived with aunt and uncle for a while, and it fascinated me. And it's something that she pointed out, that she always admired and respected about my uncle. I don't care what they argued about or mad they got. He worked second shift every day. When he got ready to go to work, his meal was wrapped. His little soda was in the aluminum foil. And like she said, no matter how angry he got with her, she never ever have to worry about the lights being out, never have to worry about him neglecting his roles, right? So I always felt like I should take that mentality into a relationship. So even if we're angry, we're mad, hey, we cannot speak. If I'm walking out the house, I'm going to come by the room. Hey, I'm headed to the store. Do you need something? If she's mad and don't want to talk to me, she'll still text, right? And I think that being who you are or keeping up with your responsibilities helps as far as moving forward with things, because it's like, look, I don't care how mad you are. We're here. These are things that need to get done. But if it gets to the point where you think that something needs to be resolved, it's hard to find a neutral person. It's really hard to find a neutral person, because you can't go to her family and they're going to take her side, or go to your family. She feels like they're going to take your side. Even pastors are biased, but sometimes you can have a person that you think can remain neutral, or just to get a different point of view, because I like to communicate with other couples about something. Like, hey, let me ask a question, blah, blah, blah. And you hear different perspectives and points of views, and you say it before you do, okay, based on what we hear, this is how we're going to move forward with the situation. But again, as we see that men are dynamic, so our relationships will be resolved differently. But I like the fact that everybody has a solution. Everyone has a plan for resolving this. You're welcome, Eric. I'm sorry. I'm just reading through the different questions. And to the listeners that came in, I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. And please make sure you share, tell a friend. That's our rule. Tell a friend. One other question. Oh, I'm sorry. And this is a repeat, but this person was not on the show previously, so we've addressed this, but she asked, why are men hesitant to operate in their emotions? Who wants to take a shot at that? Why are men hesitant to operate in their emotions?
Maybe they don't want to get hurt.
Elaborate.
They don't want to be vulnerable and open their emotions up to a female and then get themselves hurt. Sometimes when you open your heart And if you get hurt, you get disappointed. So you don't want to do that no more. A lot of guys, they try to go in, doing it again.
So like her throwing it up in your face again or something?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you operate if you're not operating your emotions around her? Are you not emotionally available to women?
It could be sometimes. Sometimes I can be emotionally unavailable. Absolutely. But sometimes, you know, after that special moment, once that's finished, then it's gone. The feeling is like gone. Especially if that's all you wanted, you know? So you're not going there with your emotions.
Does that affect you in a relationship?
Does that affect our relationship?
Yeah. If you're not going to be emotionally available, I want to get some feedback from the ladies on this one. Would that affect your relationship with a man if he refuses to be emotionally available?
Absolutely. We can't even have one. Absolutely. Like, yes. Because you're not giving me who you truly are if you're not willing to be emotionally available with me. Like you're not telling me, like being able to be emotionally available with me also allows me to know that you trust me, like you trust me with your heart. You know what I'm saying? You trust me with yourself. And if you're not willing to be vulnerable and emotional with me, then we're only gonna be on the surface, and who wants a surface relationship?
Yeah, I think that comes after a while, though. It doesn't like initially, right? It's like showing up to a
I
blind
mean,
date
even
with
if
naked.
it's after a while, if you're still not emotionally opening up, then where are we going? What are we doing?
Okay. So after a while, yeah, I can get that.
What's a while? What's a while to you?
Well, once you get to know a person, and because everybody don't know how to handle my emotions, or don't everybody don't deserve to know what's going on with me, and you either, right? Because they might take it and mishandle it. So, like you said,
Listen,
if we're dealing with each other, and I feel like we've been dealing with each other, and I trust you, then okay, yeah. But right away, that's a
yeah,
lot.
right, like we meet tonight, and then I know everything. That's ridiculous. I agree with that,
Okay,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
like
yeah.
there should be, like levels. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right,
you should
right,
be able to give a little bit and then see how I handle that. And then like, oh,
right.
okay.
That's
Right,
right.
okay, let me
That's
give her a little bit more. And like as a female, I'm looking for that. I understand that because I'm the same way. Like we're not gonna give everything up front. But we should be able to really just be our authentic self, you
well.
know?
I'm gonna say as a male, we look for the same things.
Yeah,
After a while, if you ain't letting me in on certain things, then what are we really doing, right?
right.
We have a relationship up to a certain point, then you still got to take a private phone call in the room or something, something that you don't want me to know about. That's okay. I got you. Yeah.
As a female, I've learned that I've learned that males, as far as emotional, you never get the word, but you can watch the action.
Yeah, yeah.
And the action to me means more than the words. Just
Hmm.
me speaking.
Yeah.
Well, when we said that a couple weeks ago, boy, whew,
They didn't want to hear it.
I wanted to hear it. It wasn't me.
No, I agree, and I thank you. This is something, fellas, that I want us to keep doing the good work that we're doing. And Melvin,
Yeah.
give you some background in the show Men Are from Mars. Our goal is so that women can see
Yeah.
from the perspective of men and not what they've been told by other women forever. And Deborah and Nicole have truly been responsive to us and saying how many things they've learned from listening to other men. We've had multiple men on the show and given different perspectives. And that is something that, and I know that women said sometimes they like to hear it and they want to hear certain things. But for a man, it's like, if I'm getting up 5 o'clock every morning, shopping and got there and Sam's Club so I can pay all your credit card bills, making sure every Sunday after church I'm filling your car with gas, doing X, Y, Z. Am I not showing you that I love you?
You are.
But some women,
Right, you are. You
some
gotta just
women
tell me
want
once
to
a
hear it.
year. Just
Yeah,
tell me
some
once a
women want to
year.
hear it. And to us, it's like saying it is frivolous because we can say anything. And we've all heard that your mouth can say anything. We can tell 20 women we love them, but who are we showing it to? And that part, that means a lot. So, and again, Melvin, I agree with you when you talk about hesitant with being emotionally available, because sometimes you say things like, what's going on with you? And some people will literally, which is the ultimate betrayal. If I've opened up to you and confided in you with everything that's going on, and you throw it up at me, like, now you've not only ruined our relationship, you've made it harder for me to become emotionally available for someone else, because that trust is gone. And another person can say to you is, oh, trust me, I'm not that person. 9 times out of 10, the person that betrayed you said the same thing when you met them. Oh, you can trust me, I'm not that person, blah, blah, blah. And then it happens. So ladies, that's why it's so important to not throw things up at men. And I've seen it so many times on social media, which is awful. Once you do that, you're ruining, you're going to ruin the opportunity for men to become emotionally available to anyone else once that has happened to them.
Hey, cool, Sean. I kind of stepped away from the phone for a minute listening to you guys talk. But one of the other things why men, aren't emotionally available is because of perception. If a man's going through an issue and he, you know, opens up to his significant other, does his significant other believe him to be, you know, a weak man? So a lot of men hold in their emotions in that aspect.
That is true. Like now they got this new thing where y'all calling men sassy. Ladies, what is a sassy man? Please take a minute and help me define in your opinion. What is a sassy man?
I never
You
heard
can't
of it.
ask me that because I cuss my nieces out every time I hear them call somebody sassy. I check them right then in that moment because that is we're not going to do that because men absolutely have the right and the opportunity to express themselves and it not be something that's made fun of. So I couldn't even tell you what that means, to be honest with you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm old school, Cole. I have nobody to speak those words to me, so I've never heard it.
Okay. Thank you. I had some, we were on a podcast I was invited to on yesterday, and these women were going on about sassy men and sassy this. So I asked, like, what is sassy? And one said that when a man expects praises for something that he's supposed to do, that's sassy. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me, but it's their definition, you know, of what sassy is. Now, I'm sorry, y'all, because I keep going back and forth as these questions come in. Okay, welcome to Maria. We have
Eric into the
guests
room.
here. Well, and, my brother Eric is here with us today. Welcome. And Tamara was here. She came in. She sent the great questions for us about being obsessed with sex, what we bring to a relationship, and what makes a female wife material. You know, and I think that yeah, welcome to Maria. And again, I hope we did a great job today, ladies, as far as answering the questions.
Y'all did.
Yes, you guys did. You guys gave some very good answers. And I want to just go back to, what you had mentioned about, me letting you guys know that a lot how you guys speak to us and the way you provide your information has taught me a lot because I am very like emotionally I can be. I'm not going to say I am because I've worked very hard not to be in these last couple of years, but there are still moments where I can find myself being very emotionally like closed off and just being a part of this podcast and kind of listening to some of the responses that you guys give, it allows me to check myself in a different way than than I was already trying to acknowledge my own, thing. It gave me a different perspective of how I can check myself, not just the way I thought I needed to make some improvement, but also the way that maybe someone else could perceive that I could make some improvement. If you guys understand what I'm saying.
I understand completely. And that's our intent.
And that is exactly what, has happened a lot here. And, I mean, again, like, I give myself grace and patience, because I don't necessarily care for the fact. Give me one second.
You got
It was
kids.
kind of a loud truck going by. Yeah. And, I don't necessarily care for the fact that at, the age that I am really trying to work through some things, but I also, I give myself grace in the fact that I wasn't taught how. I wasn't, told that I could, do and be and acknowledge myself in the ways that I know that I can now. So you're never too old. It's never too late. But yes, there have been some very eye-opening perspectives that you guys have given me in this journey of mine that allows me to see myself in a different light and know that, I thought I just needed to change in this way, you know what I'm saying? Or correct some things in this way when really maybe I could correct some things in this way as well.
Mm.
And as for me, like I always say, I never doubted my self-esteem level is really, really great from a little girl, but the podcast gives you a broader range of how men's really perceive things, how they react to things. And myself, like I'm one of those females that I think I function a little different because I watch a lot. I watch a lot. I observe a lot. I try to let a man be a man at the same time. It has caused me some loss. I've had some gains, but like Tank is my cousin. So I could call him. I'm on the phone with Coach Sean all day, but just to hear other males say things, that's why I get so upset when I hear females say all males are alike, because I don't want males to say all females are alike, because we are not.
Right, right.
And
Right, 100%.
I've also learned that the sorriest man can be the best man to another female because that's what she allows, or that's what she's looking for. So as far as the judgmental part, I don't judge either because of those reasons. But I never discredit myself as a female. That's why I'm not married now. I always tell Coach Sean I don't see myself because I am comfortable in the space that I'm in now. But to say that I'm not wife material, I would never say that. It's just a choice that I'm choosing. It's not even a mistake. It's the choice that I'm going with that's working for me.
Right. Because everybody does not want to be married,
Right.
you know,
Right.
especially if you've been married. Is like, what are the benefits to being married, you know? And when you're a certain age, and like right now, I mean, I have 4 kids. I'm almost 50 years old. So I feel like I've lived more life in the past than I have ahead. So I have to think about, retirement and assets. And I have 4 kids to divide things with. It's crazy to think about marrying somebody that obviously will take away from my children. I mean, that's just, I'm not a celebrity or millionaire when I'm thinking about prenuptial agreements, but just having to divide assets and then the obligations of marriage again. So I understand that completely. Everybody does not want to be married. So as far as thinking about wife material, that varies as well, because what I like, others might not like.
And I agree with you, Nicole. Like when you say, you're comfortable in the space that you're in, that is such a true statement because for a woman to be there, right, and know, like, I know I have all of the qualities of being a wife, of being someone's wife. I can do all of those things, but in this moment, I really just choose to focus on self and
Yeah.
be, about self. And that is okay as well, like with me being on the healing journey that I'm on, I'm celibate and all of that. So why in the world would I be thinking about getting into a relationship with a man at this point? Because I know where I'm at. I know what I'm doing and the work that I'm doing on myself. And I know it requires, at least at this stage in my life, for me to be alone. It doesn't require for me to be with someone and to have a partner at this moment. But when I get to a certain point, you know, do I necessarily want to be married? Not necessarily, but if it's something that, comes about when I'm in a different space in life, am I open to it? Yes, 100%. Yeah. But right now, the space that I'm in is self. So no, I'm not looking to be anyone's wife, though I know I have all of the qualities to be able to be that. I agree with you.
I'm sorry. We're going through reading different questions, right?
Are you dating?
Deborah, Damon asked
Yes,
you
I'm here.
dating. Damon asked you dating, Deborah.
Mm, not technically, no. Like I don't, if someone, wants to take me out or something like that, it just sometimes I may agree, right? Just get out, have an experience, but like, I don't have there's no expectations there. There's no, like I'm not going into this, like, what can I get? What can I, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, let me just let me have a good night out and let me just do that. And so, it's very few and far between when I do entertain something like that. Again, because I know I'm not in the space to really foster anything long term or serious with anyone in this moment. I'm not out here looking to date. I'm not out here putting myself out there to date. I'm really just focusing on myself and doing the things that, figuring out what makes me happy and what I desire and what I deserve. And that's really the space that I'm in right now. So, yeah, no, I'm not really dating at this point. I haven't been out on a date in probably the same amount of time that I've been celibate, which is going on 3 years. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I know just like Nicole said, like being comfortable where you're at is what matters. And knowing and being accountable for where you're at and being able to communicate where you're at to someone else so that they understand what process in life you're in.
Mm. Fellas, I have one final question that came through, right? The question is, can you be in a serious relationship with a woman that has been with one of your friends or family members?
No, sir. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, sorry.
Yeah, that's a no for me too, as a
We
woman.
can, we can smash. We can smash and dash, but that's about it.
That's a no for me
I
too,
can't
for
even do
sure.
that.
Can't do it.
If you've been with my
Okay.
sister or my cousin or something like that, you're absolutely off limits in any way. I don't care what it is.
So I'm from New York, right? And I've been down here for 10 years now. Would you believe the first four females I started holler at was my cousins? That was some bullshit. I'm like, God, everybody's family, like, yo, I got sick, man. I'm like, every time I start talking to them, yo, we family. My
I
family.
think that's another show right there.
Right, right. So,
Right, a whole nother show.
so guys, the census says that's a no. Can you be in a serious relationship with a woman that has she's had sex with a friend or family member?
No.
Mm. Tanks and no. Damon, Terry.
No, definitely not.
So,
I got in with a young lady one time, and after about 6 months, 7 months of dating,
hmm
I found out that she used to date one of my really close cousins. We grew up like brothers, and I just never thought about it. But I know he was dating a soldier, and this has been a long time ago though. So when I met the young lady, I met her, and we started dating for a while, about 6, 7 months, and then one day, I don't know how it came up, but I realized that she was the young lady that my really close cousin was dating. And they didn't date long, but they did date. And so we continued for a while, and that thing stayed on me, and eventually we had to break it. We had to break it off. But
Because of that
it
reason?
wasn't for that reason.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it wasn't for that reason, and that's why I was kind of hesitant because we all say never until we hit the situation. Because I'd say never too, right? And I said never up until that moment because I didn't break it off when I found this out. We had a conversation, but we got past it, and yeah, it just and after we broke it off, me and my cousin we talk about it, and we had man talk about it and stuff. So yeah, that was crazy.
Hey, I guess I'm the outlier on this one because if I meet a woman, it's different if okay we're hanging out and I know you dated this person, right? But I think, and I should ask for clarification on this, but if if I meet someone like in your situation, Damon, if I meet someone and we're dating and then that's why really I don't care about a person's past, but if they come up and was like, oh, I didn't know you were friends with such and such, or how well do you know XYZ? We messed around back in college. Okay, big deal. You know, that's how
Right.
I
That's
look
why I
at it.
said too. I agree.
Yeah,
I
that
agree with
yeah,
you.
that has nothing to do with me.
That
That
ain't why
But
we broke
but
up, and we got past that.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
So you
here's a question for you, Kushan.
Go ahead.
So yeah, she messed around with somebody you knew,
You're breaking up, Terry. I don't know if you're too far away from your phone. Or,
but that's can you hear me now?
yeah, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What? All right. So, but yeah, that's not a family member though. So here, this is my thing with that situation. I meet this girl, and one of the first questions I'm asking her is like, where'd you grow up? Did you date anybody? Yada yada yada. Because if it's a family member, I have a big issue with it because if I continue a relationship with you, and I bring you around to a family event, and then that particular family member is there, that's going to make me feel very uncomfortable. Like, what is he thinking in the back of his mind? Oh, yeah, I remember when I used to smash that right there. Matter of fact, when he step off, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to talk to him. So that makes me, feel some kind of way about the situation. So that for me to date a woman that dated one of my family members,
So
no,
all friends,
I'm not
friends, all
talking about a
family.
friend. I'm
Yeah.
not talking
Okay.
about a friend. I'm talking about a family member now.
All right. Because the
Uh,
question asks friend or family member.
Okay, well, for a family member, no.
yeah.
For
Has it ever
friend,
happened?
has it ever
Has it
happened?
ever has it ever happened to you?
Nah, nah. Like I say, I asked those questions early.
Right.
I asked that question
I hear
early,
you.
and I try to figure it out
And that's
early.
good because maybe if I answered that question earlier, it would have changed things too. But I didn't, and we got in
Right,
deep. I'm
got in
telling
deep.
you, and
So that,
and it wasn't no going back.
right.
It wasn't no going back for that reason. Right. hmm
Well, with
But
me,
I was like you before that.
yeah, past is the past. And I realized that as I grew older, this is a small world. And I'm like, hey, man, especially being like anybody from college, because like my people I guess we had a type, like the same type girls that ran in the same circles. And the older you get, hey, we not meeting virgins. So I think it's a higher possibility of running into someone that a friend or associate has been with. But like I said, I've never been interested in that person's past. But man, I apologize, you all. We've reached our 2 hour mark. We down to the final 60 seconds. So anything you all want to, and welcome to Maria. At least speak, say hello to everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Tamaria.
She gave us these great questions today. And yes, again, great show, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming in. Melvin, thank you all. Tank, Nikki, Terry, Damon, Deborah.
Coach Sean, my sister said, when is her husband moving to Georgia? Cause she really likes the way you speak and the way you think. And so she said, when's her husband moving to Georgia? That was just the question.
When,
It was a joke, Coach. It was a joke.
Say tomorrow if you serious.
I know, right?